Tell the people how it is, Albie. Explain the numbers to the people. No? Okay, I'll do it. I'm gonna go ahead and explain this because Albie's English isn't terribly good. The numbers that you're seeing reflect my normal commute to work. I may be doing 30, I may be doing 80. The first set of numbers reflects the first week with the old plugs, and the second set is gonna reflect the second week with the new plugs. Because that's how the world works. The world is not some sort of constant controlled experiment. I wanna know if these plugs affect my real world driving. 273.2 miles. Let's see how many gallons it takes to get this thing back to full. There we go. So we filled her up with what? 10.957 gallons. 273 divided by 10.9 equals 25 miles per gallon. Okay, kids, let's change these spark plugs out real quick. What we're gonna need is a 10 millimeter something. I like the deep well socket for this. See how those look? Don't lose those. They're weird bolts and they're hard to find if you happen to need a replacement. Coils unplugged. Pull those out. Check for oil leaks while I'm here. It looks pretty good. So there's our first spark plug. Does not look a world of difference. So here's an improvised socket wrench for your spark plugs. See this little magnet? That's a little neodymium, like 1/4-inch magnet. Stick it on there, run it in the hole, put that on. Now your spark plug will hang on, but not so tight that you can't get your socket back out. Cool, huh? I start these by hand. That way if I can feel better if I'm starting to cross thread, and I don't want to cross thread. There we go, that's number one. Next spark plug. These spark plugs have at least 100,000 miles on them. And everything looks pretty good. That one does have a little bit of wear to it, so maybe it will make a difference. That one also has just a little bit of wear on one side, so that one's also got just the tiniest bit of wear on it. Once that's snugged down in there, take the wrench and just do just a little tweak on it. There. That's it. That's how I put in spark plugs. Also, this one actually has less wear than the other three, so that's bizarre. It's got a little more burn to it as well. Weird. There's all the spark plugs changed. These are Iridium IX, whatever that means. Iridium spark plugs. And they are NGKs. These are OEMs for the Honda Element. Parts back in, coils. Wire. Fill it up, do it all over again. So I really didn't expect to find any damage on those spark plugs when I took them out. I was wrong. There is a little bit of damage on there. Is it enough to make a difference in the mileage? I'm not sure. We're gonna have to check and find out. Many years ago, when I first started working on cars, dinosaurs roamed the earth and you were dealing with carburetors, you would often run into cars that were running too rich or too lean, and that would affect your spark plug. And you could actually tell whether it was running too rich or too lean by examining some other things, but also the spark plugs. The color of the spark plugs, whether or not they looked burnt or they looked orange or black or oily or whatever. There were all these different things you could read off of old spark plugs when you took them out. But these days, with the sensors and the computer systems that modern cars have for controlling your fuel mixture, you don't really run into that quite as much. So a lot of times I see people changing spark plugs when they don't really need to. I'm a big fan of taking your spark plugs out, looking at them, and if they don't look bad, put them back. The ones that I took out today are perfectly usable, but the fact that there's a little bit of wear on that ground strap may mean that the gap isn't right, so maybe it's not getting good fuel efficiency. I'm really curious to see if it makes a difference, aren't you? We're back at the gas station. We've just about run out of gas. We've got 278 miles. Let's go do our math and see how many miles per gallon we've got on new spark plugs. Well, I don't understand that. There's absolutely no way I should have lost like, what, 3-4 miles per gallon adding new spark plugs. So I'm wondering, did I really drive the same way both times? We're gonna try this one last time in this video where I drive in a very controlled manner. I'm gonna try and keep things between 3,000 and 3,500 RPM. And we'll see how that does. All right, test number 3. 287 miles. Let's see how many gallons that ate up. 13.347. Well, guys, that's weird. That's twice in a row we come up with about 21 miles per gallon. The original number was 24-ish. It's about 3 miles per gallon better on the old wore out crappy spark plugs. So what's the deal? Were those spark plugs made out of magic, or did I do my math wrong? I'm starting to suspect I made a mistake somewhere. But, you know, 21, 22 is consistent with what I'm used to seeing out of this car. I was a little surprised the first time I added that up and it came out 24. So I'm gonna chalk that up to human error. I think I had to have made a mistake, and I'm not exactly sure what it was. I just can't see how the new spark plugs are doing worse than the old wore out 100,000 mile spark plugs. So anyway, hope this video was fun and informative, or at least something you can laugh at. And I'll see you next time on Scavenger Type. And remember, you can change your own spark plugs, although you probably don't need to. See you next time.